Hey guys, I am very sorry. I had technical issues this morning and couldn't the computer camera is working. But hey, 8 minutes late. My apologies, but we're here now. So let's get into turn 7. So let's get it right as we go. So to have a bit of a recap of last turn, we had the Royalist forces down in Oxford and Gloucester. Cromwell had marched down in to try and take Oxford, but he was repulsed. Well, he withdrew, I should say. It wasn't actually a battle. He withdrew due to the enemy being in much larger numbers, but he did take some casualties. Rupert had come down to try and link up, but didn't quite make it. But he did outpace Fairfax, who was pursuing to try and destroy him. In the north, the Scottish force split, and half of them went north to capture Royalist territories, whilst the others pursued Lord Gravely as he went into Liverpool. Overall, last turn, there weren't any pitched battles. It was more just a turn of manoeuvre, but it was quite interesting overall. The Royalists were able to, using their campaign points, take Bristol as well, so that got them one step closer on the sort of strategic level to being able to win if things keep going sort of in their direction. This turn is going to be interesting. We had quite a bit of sort of discussion on the comments as to which orders we should grant to the different armies, especially what should happen with Lord Gravely up here. Should he march south or should he take the ships round? I haven't checked today to find out what the overall opinion is, so we will come back to that shortly. But so far, for turn 7, that's the lay of the land. So let's see who's going to get the initiative. So we've got the Royalists rolling a 4. We've got the Scots rolling a 3. And Parliament rolling a 5. So Parliament goes first, then the Royalists, then the Scots. So it's Parliament. And then Scottish. Okay, that'll be interesting. Next up, we've got our month of the year, or how many months it's going to take. So 1, 2 is 1 month. 3, 4 is 2. 5, 6 is 3. And we got a 3. So that's 2 months we progress. And I think we were in August. We were. Okay, so we were in August. So it takes us out to October. Okay. So now into October. Let's see what the weather's going to do for this turn. Will our clear skies continue, or is it going to be something different? So we roll our 2d6. And we've got a 4 for October. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear sky. Oh, wait. Sorry. My mistake. 4. Yep. Clear sky. Clear again. All right. Good news if there's a battle this time. And then, are there any historic events? Let's have a quick look. I don't believe so. So we are 1643, October. No, nothing there. So that's good. Well, I'm not sure if it's good or not, but that's the situation. Next up, we're going to do our random events for the armies. So let's start off with King Charles, who is currently in Oxford. So find our dice. That's it. Yeah, let's see what he gets. That's a 40. Okay, Charles rolls a 40. And that is Show of Colour. So a random, non-fortified neutral area is claimed for your side. Oh, interesting. So claim a neutral area. Pretty good. Can't complain by that one. Once we go to review which of the options were taken, then we can find out if there's any neutral territories at the moment, or if they've all been claimed. If they have been claimed, then that will be kind of like kept in our back pocket until there's a neutral one that we can claim. Next up, we've got Rupert, who is in Gloucestershire. And that is a 66. So 66, damp weather. Okay, I guess we are moving into October, so winter is approaching. So damp weather. And that one was, we roll a d20 each turn during a battle. So once the battle's taking place, we roll a d20 each turn. And if you roll a 15 or above, then you can't fire. Sorry, you have to roll a 15 or above to be able to fire. Below that, the muskets just don't fire. It's too damp, the powder's wet, etc. So it's just much harder for your musket troops and artillery to fire, basically. Next up, we have Lord Gravely, who's currently in Liverpool. Okay, let's see what he's got. He's got a 93, which will be nothing. And then finally, we have Sir Edward, who is also with the King at Oxford. And he's rolled a 53, which is plenty of ammunition. On a turn of your choice, 3 musket units may fire again. That is a very, very useful bonus to have. 53, because it could just turn the tide of a battle just like that. If there's an enemy unit that's almost there, bang, you've got them. Good evening, Luke. How are you doing? Great to see this unfold. Hope your dog is doing well. Oh, he's doing pretty well. He has been whining all morning in, I guess, excitement for me going live. No, I think it's more because he just wants his food. But he's doing well. And thank you very much for your support. What was I saying? 53 is... That was plenty of ammo. Let me just write that in. Plenty of ammo. Cool. Next up, we have got Fairfax, who is currently situated right here. Fairfax. And he's rolled a 10. So, what is 10? 10, 10, 10. Casualties of war. A unit of your choice gains a disordered marker before deployment. So that's on so one of his units will start the battle disorganized, which basically means that they will have less cohesion at the start of the game. So it's going to be harder for them to survive, so to speak. Okay, so that's interesting. What was that? 10 casualties of war. Which I guess from our sort of campaign perspective, you could say that they've been fighting across the country pursuing the Royalists. So they've had troops who have fallen out on the march. They've suffered illnesses and all sorts of things. So yeah, it's quite believable that they would be suffering a little bit in the great scheme of things. They've been fighting throughout the summer and now it's approaching winter. So yep, I can see that. Next up, we've got Cromwell, who is currently this one. Cromwell rolls a 60. And 60 is brother against brother. This is madness. So reduce unit cohesion by 1. So one of his units will lose cohesion. 1 unit. Okay. So far, I think it's been neither side have so far had too much of a benefit. Well, actually, no, definitely the Royalists. Charles gaining his neutral territory, and Edward plenty of ammunition. Whereas the Parliamentarians, it's been too negative so far. Next up, we've got Waller. Waller is located with Fairfax. And what's that going to be? That's an 85. And an 85 is Speed March. One army gets to make an additional move either this turn or next. So interesting. And seeing as the Parliamentarians have the initiative, if they need to do anything, that's going to be very beneficial for them. Okay, and then we've got our final chap, which is Alexander Leslie. I mean, his forces are kind of split at the moment, but we'll just roll once for his contingent. So Leslie. And he's rolled a 68. And that is I can't see the man in front of me. Heavy fog makes long-range fire impossible. At the beginning of each turn, roll 1d6. If the roll is below the current number of turns, the fog lifts. Otherwise, no long-range fire. Interesting. So again, yep, we're going into to those wintry months. So fog is going to be playing more of an effect. It's going to be having more of an effect on what's going to happen on the battlefield. And in this case, yeah, if he fights, there's fog. And just to clarify, these effects, the weather effects, so damp weather and fog, it will affect both armies. It won't just be affecting the one. So just want to clarify that point. Okay, so that's our randoms. Now let's go and see what options everyone chose. So let me organize up my papers. Cool. All right, let's jump over. There we go. I hope you can see that. So So for the Royalists, originally we had the 4 options, and it was kind of a split because over half of them originally wanted to do the sending Lord Gravely by ship round to Cardiff, and half didn't. So that's why we did the second poll, which was literally just the 2 options of do we go by boat or do we go by land. For the parliamentarians, they had their 3 options, and the winning option is option 2, which is the Scottish forces carry on taking territories, and Cromwell and Fairfax aim to attack Rupert. Okay, I'll just write that down. Parliament, option 2. And I don't know where the poll's gone. We did have another one, which was for the Royalists. Scheduled? No, it's done. Oh, there it is. Yeah, don't know where that had disappeared to. So looks like the majority, when we, as I said, with the Royalists, we rewrote it out. So you had just the 2 options with the secondary lines, Rupert and Fairfax, etc., all exactly the same. It was just the focus on what Gravely's going to do. And the majority are asking for him to march south. So I guess we're going to be going with that option. Okay, so option 2 for the Royalists. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's go back to Anarchy Dev. Whilst I just look on that map, there are no... Oh, actually, there is a neutral territory by the looks of it over there, which the Royalists could claim if they want, but I'll have a look on the large map later. So, stop, go back to live. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that the camera's still working and it's still clear. Cool. So based off of that, our Scottish forces are going to sort of be meandering around in the north, making sure that they capture and reduce down the Royalist support up here. But they're going to go second, or third even, I should say. First up, we've got Parliament. And based on that, along with the fact that, well, actually, it's Warlock and Speed March. So the order was to attack Rupert. So we're going to have Fairfax, who's going to come straight down from there. And we're going to have Cromwell, who's going to come straight down and attack. So that'll be our first battle of the turn. Let's write that down. Fairfax and Waller and Cromwell. Attack Gloucester with Rupert. So that's quite interesting. So they'll be attacking into there. Then we'll be moving to the Royalists as their second, which was for the king to march across and assist in the attack on Fairfax. So he'll just be coming across anyway. So he will arrive as reinforcements at some point. King plus Edward as reinforcements. So that's going to be a very big battle royale, that's for sure. And then we had the final instruction was for Gravely to march south. So from Liverpool, he will be going his 2. So probably down to Shrewsbury. It's probably the most likely thing, just to occupy that city. So he moves to there. And then we've got, as I said, the Scottish forces just plundering their way through the north. I'm glad you joined us. And yeah, glad you didn't miss it. I was a few minutes late earlier, so again, my apologies for that. Ooh, interesting turn ahead by the looks of it. I think this is going to end up being probably the most important turn of the game. We've got all of the armies pretty well pitched against each other. If the Royalists lose, then it's going to be an open sweep for the Parliamentarians to reoccupy that territory which they've lost and recapture London. If the Parliamentarians lose, they will get pushed back onto Lord Gravely if they're able to escape at all, and it could be the end of them entirely. So very interesting situation. Yeah. Now, one thing to take into consideration here is there is a road that runs down here. And so, yeah, and there's another road there. So do you guys, whilst you're on here, think... yeah, you definitely should. Seeing as you're live and you're watching, I'll give you guys the options for Lord Gravely. Should he march straight down to Shrewsbury, or should he march to over towards Nottingham? He can move 2 spaces either way. So he could go 1, 2 to Shrewsbury, or down this road 1, 2. He won't quite get to Nottingham. My opinion would be Shrewsbury, because that way if the Royalists can win, they're going to crush the enemy. But what do you think? It was Edward with extra ammo, so Edward's in there. Rupert had damp weather, so it's going to be harder for him to fire. And then you've got Charles, who can claim the neutral territory. Edward, who is with Charles, who has plenty of ammo. So on a turn when his ammunition is able to be fired, he'll be able to do his 3 shots and hopefully obliterate Cromwell. Yeah, I agree. Shrewsbury? Okay, cool. Shrewsbury is the decision. And I think that's a pretty good battle plan, to be honest. Just leave the north to the Scots for now. Hopefully they'll make peace with the Royalists if we can destroy the Parliamentarians, and that'll be the end of it. Yeah, any other questions from you guys about the campaign so far? About this turn, any of the turns, about the rules? Excuse me. No, that's all cool. Yeah, I have made a few slight adjustments to the rules from when we started back on turn 1 up to now. Because as I said at the start, it's a set that I've been working on for a while, and this is kind of the play test. And so when there's been a few pieces here and there which haven't really made too much sense, they've been adjusted. So it's really, I think, come together nicely. And I'm looking forward to the end of the campaign when it can be released to everyone. But no, I think it's good. Coming together very nicely. And yeah, I'm really appreciating all of your input and ideas. So thank you very much for your support. When will I release the PDF with your tables? Pretty well as soon as I'm happy that I don't need to make any more adjustments. So I would say no later than the end of the campaign, possibly sooner. I've been doing the editing of it now. There's a few extra pieces I need to put into it, but it's more or less there. So yeah, not a huge amount of time. As I said, probably by the end of the campaign. What month are we in now? We're in March, aren't we? So I would say May time would be the latest that it'll be ready. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. No worries at all. I'm enjoying it too. It is very fun. I've enjoyed getting everyone's opinions. It's one thing doing solo wargaming, but this is actually, it's kind of like solo wargaming, but it's better at the same time because it's not just you having to make all the decisions. It's everyone's collective inputs, and it's a lot more fun. So yeah, thank you very much for taking part. And yeah, like like I always say, if when the options go up, you have other suggestions for anyone, like the Royalists, for the Scots, you chuck those in. If you think that an army should split, yeah, let me know that as well. I'm open to different options, so just yeah, keep letting me know. I don't think we need to worry about the Spanish or the French coming across, thankfully. So we'll keep it nice and small. But yeah, I think it's gone nicely so far. And from my own perspective, I feel the rules are, as I said, mostly finished. And once they're done, I think they could probably be expanded to probably not the whole of, say, the 30 Years War campaign map of the whole of Europe, but any individual theatre that you were interested in, I think they would work quite well. So if you were more interested in sort of the Netherlands with the Spanish troops, or somewhere in Germany, I think it would work pretty well. So yeah. How many guys help with the battles? Usually it's just me and one. I take command of one side, he takes the command of the other. It can be 3 or 4. It really depends. If with this big battle here, we might have extra people just because there could be more troops on the table. But yeah, usually it's just the 2 of us. Although it would be quite nice to be able to break it down into each commander of an army. So like in this case, Rupert and Charles and Edward, each being commanded by a different person. That would be quite cool. And we sometimes do some interesting things in our club when you do that sort of thing, that instead of being able to communicate verbally to get your armies to do what you want, you have to write it down. And then it's up to the other person to have to try and interpret what you've written. So it kind of adds that little bit of interest in, like you can read something and completely misinterpret the intent of what the person wanted. Or you could get it bang on. So it adds that extra bit of interest. So sometimes we enjoy doing that. But no, overall, yeah, definitely fun. And that's yeah, basically how we do it. What you might find, just as a little heads up, with this battle being pretty well going to be almost all of the troops that I have, I am in the process of painting up extra sprues, but I'm not sure if I'll get them done in time for Sunday because I've got quite a lot on today and quite a lot on tomorrow, but hopefully I will. If I don't have enough troops, then you will probably see some proxies, probably in the form of sort of Confederate infantry from the American Civil War, just because they look a bit similar to musketeers. So if you do see them, yeah, just a heads up. Are we part of a club? It is a club to a certain extent, in that it's a group of people that play, but it's not a formal club in any sense of the word. Like Little Wars TV's club, no, nothing like that. Just a group of friends who play on a regular basis. Yeah, I do agree with Rupert there. It'll be interesting to see how the map gets drawn up. Let me have a look. Where are the orders of battle for them? I should have to look back through the videos to find out what their order of battle numbers are. I know at the end of last turn, Cromwell got pretty badly mauled. I think Rupert's forces are quite badly damaged as well, but I'll have to double check on that one. Yeah, actually they were, because Maurice got killed, didn't he, in that battle at Shrewsbury? And his forces were almost annihilated at the time. Rupert's half of the battlefield, they were relatively speaking intact at the end. But as an army group collective, yeah, they've suffered quite a lot. So I think they will have to be careful there, that's for sure. But his cavalry were still intact. They didn't really suffer any casualties. So yeah, we will have to be careful. He doesn't just go charging across the battlefield. And we'll have to roll as well at the start of the battle to see whether Cromwell and Fairfax both arrive at the same time, or whether there'll be a delay between them, because that's going to have quite an impact as well. So it will be a very interesting one to see how and when the different armies arrive. yeah, mustering troops is definitely time consuming, that's for sure. That's one of the things within this rule set which I haven't really touched on just when I've been doing the videos, the battle reports and that sort of thing. But there are time periods for after battles, troops are recovering and returning to the fight. Just to give you, I will bore you with a few of the points. Let's find out, where is it? So after the battles have been fought, you obviously have your casualties during the game itself. If a unit's destroyed in the battle, but the army survives, after one turn, that unit returns, but just as a conscript. However, if the army is destroyed along with the all the units within it, obviously, again, one turn later, those units would reappear, but they will then be distributed amongst any of the named cities that you have, and all of those troops would come back as conscript / militia. Cohesion, there we go. So after battles where an army is not destroyed, the winner's units will regain 5 cohesion points straight away. So that's kind of, they've won the battle, but they were disorganized, and then those troops come back in. Some of them may have routed and run, but they've reorganized themselves and come back. The loser's units will regain 3 cohesion straight away, so less than the winner. Then cohesion is regained by 1 point per turn if the army moves at a regular pace. Cohesion is regained by 3 points per turn if the army pauses in any of the non-named town locations. And if the army stops in a named town, it regains 5 points. If you speed march an army, on the other hand, which will be doubling its speed, it will actually take more cohesion loss because you'll have men who straggle and fall out as they march. Any militia from Gloucester? If we were doing Gloucester as a siege, there would be, but as it's in the countryside, no. I mean, there could be, I guess. But no, I've only put it down in the rules at this stage that if a city's being attacked, then there would be reinforcements in the form of like militia conscripts who would come out to help you. But not entirely sure. If it's just a battle which isn't a siege, then I was just going to be sort of basing it around any other field battle. So yeah, at this stage, I mean, unless you really think there should be, I was going to leave it as no additionals. That's my situation. Oh, I see what you mean about the painting. Yeah, getting the mustering the troops. Yeah. Sorry, a bit slow this morning. And yes, there are bits from William Sylvester in there. His solo Wargames guide, especially the weather. So definitely a great book. Yeah, definitely. That's the thing, isn't it? There's only so many things under the sun, and if people have good ideas, definitely worth using them or adapting them to the best of our abilities. But anyway, I think that pretty well sums up turn 7 and what's happening. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So we've got a clear October day in Gloucestershire, which is damp weather, and that's about it, really. Plenty of ammunition for some of the Royalists. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle from both perspectives, and I really do think this will be the big game changer for one side or the other. Whoever wins, pretty well, it opens the door for them to potentially win the campaign pretty quickly. So yeah, thank you very much, chaps. Glad you joined us today, and I've enjoyed the conversation. And I hope, yeah, I'm glad that you're enjoying everything. So until next time, yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you later.